Hello. What's up, everybody? Say hello in the chat. We've been having some issues with Rockfin. We're trying to sync that back up. I know it's been a while, been traveling. I was at the Bitcoin Asia conference in Hong Kong, and that was really cool. And I posted some interviews and videos from that, which has been really great interviews. Met the people from Bitcoin Boxing. They're empowering fighters. So it's pretty amazing what they're doing. Yeah, I met Herbert Sim. I just dropped his interview, the Bitcoin man. He's got like 3 million followers, and he's in transhumanism, which I'm not quite sure what it means, but he had a bold prediction for what's happening. There's going to be a false flag alien invasion starting September 22nd or 23rd, somewhere in there, I think he said. So I don't know, a week away, 2 weeks away, 10 days away, looks like. So we'll keep you posted on that. And, interviewed, we orange pilled, we saw Reina Chicas from Me Premier Bitcoin. I haven't dropped that interview yet, but I will. The Wi-Fi here in Indonesia right now. I came for the Bitcoin conference in Bali, and I was really sick, so I couldn't go to it. But we're in the process of obtaining a press pass for Token 2049, which will be in Singapore the first week of October. I've got shows in Bangkok coming up here. I have a private show actually at the Soho House, September 29th. That's like a members only club in Bangkok, and then we'll be doing other shows around Thailand that we're putting together. So it's a really really interesting time. What's happening in America and in the world, kind of crazy. What's happening, but we'll get into our first segment here. Where is it? Hold on. All right. All right, let me get this queued up here. All right, let me get this. All right. All right. We'll get the Massie bill queued up. All right, we'll be back and start this. Hello, everybody. My name is Graham, the Bitcoin Vigilante. You can support us right here. We're traveling on the road. We're in Asia. We're at the Bitcoin Asia conference in Hong Kong 2 weeks ago, and we came to Bali for the Bitcoin Bali conference and then got sick, but still here in Bali, and we'll be interviewing some people. There's a Bitcoin meetup that I'm going to check out. I still want to meet the Bitcoin community here. There's some flooding here in Bali that actually got kind of bad. Some people a couple people even died, and some people were injured, but it's finally sunny and nice out. But, you know, we've been covering the Epstein story since 2019, in July of 2019. And now there's people who are not letting it go. And so Representative Thomas Massie, who's a Republican, very conservative, you know, he's against abortion, and he is pushing hard to get the Epstein files released, and this won't go away. I mean, the fact that Trump is now calling it a hoax and all, it's preposterous, and his own base is seeing through it, because Trump ran on this campaign of Trump's angle was, you know, under Joe Biden, the Epstein files were hidden because the Democrats were all in these files. And so that's why. And then, you know, Pam Bondi in February, you know, I don't even think a full month after Trump had been sworn in, was on the news, on Fox News, saying the files are on my desk, we're going through this. And all the Trump supporters were on social media like, we're going to get him, we're going to get him. And I was like, well, as an Epstein, as somebody that covers this Epstein case and sees how easily they cover it up, I'm always like, I don't know. Every time it's like, we're going to get the files, we're going to get, nothing happens. And then sure enough, July 7th, Pam Bondi said, nope, files are empty. And everyone, I'll give credit to certain people in that are Trump supporters for calling Trump out on this, because it is the most hypocritical thing we've ever seen. And now the Trump White House, his press secretary is just signing to say, oh, it's a joke that the Democrats are just politicizing these, which of course they do. That's what happens in a two-party system. Everybody politicizes everything, but people aren't letting it go. And I've heard, you know, some Trump supporters go, well, you know, the Clintons are on that list. Yeah, good, get them, round them up. I don't like the Clintons. I'm an anti-war, pro-labor Democratic socialist. I don't care about the Democratic Party. I would never protect those people. I don't want to protect them or the Republicans. That's why I'm an independent. That's why I hate the two-party system, because Epstein is the most egregious example of how both parties will cover it up and protect themselves. Even the other party, they'll even protect the other party if it helps them. And so Massie is I'll give the guy credit. There's a lot about him politically I don't agree with, but here's what he's doing right now. This is from his Twitter account, several earlier, you know, this said, we have 217 of 218 signatures required. We just need one more congressman to sign the discharge petition in order to force the vote in the House on a bill to release the Epstein files. Victims deserve justice and Americans deserve transparency. 4 Republicans, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, and Nancy Mace from South Carolina, and I have signed it, and every Democrat has signed it. And then he puts a link. We're going to put this link in the chat so you can see which one of your representatives signed it, which ones didn't. So a bunch of Republicans are not signing this. which just, you know, and the fact that a bunch of Democrats are signing it, to be honest, I'm not like, oh yeah, the Democrats, they're going to get to the truth of they don't want to get to the truth of this either, but they're going to do the best. I don't know. I think the Democrats are just doing it so they can try to take down Trump. But the whole system, these are all the signatures. Wow. Okay. So I'll put that in the chat. These are all the signatures, everybody who signed it. So you can see for yourself. It's a matter of public record. Let me put it on the screen right there. These are all the people that have signed it. So there's people still holding out. And everyone's, you know, a lot of people are paying attention to this. Myself, Whitney Webb, all the victims came out a couple days ago or earlier in the week saying they're just going to release the names, which just do it. Don't wait, because the more every time somebody, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, it gives the ruling elites that are on Epstein's list, these predatory pedophile billionaires that, you know, abuse and sell children, it gives them time to figure out their plan. You know, that's the reality. So, because I want to see this. I want these people held accountable, but I don't know how I don't know. I support the victims that are speaking out. That's I'll say that. I'll support the victims that are speaking out. So, yeah, I mean, some are even, and then right here, the UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer has fired Britain's ambassador to the US, Peter Mandelson, over links to Jeffrey Epstein. So the UK, which has a lot, I mean, the British government, the royals, Prince Andrew, who should be extradited and in federal custody here in America, he's guilty. So I hope Massie is successful with this. I mean, this is all everyone's calling it out. Somebody wrote here, isn't it you who once said something along the lines of congressional math is that there's always seems to be just one too few Republican votes or signatures to pass anything meaningful. Epstein survivors deserve justice and Americans deserve transparency. Yeah. So I hope Massie's successful with this. His other bill about trying to block funding to countries that perform abortions, I'm against that because it's like we should have the freedom of choice. I don't think the government, this is where Republicans, it doesn't make sense to me. They're all about, hey, don't tell the government what to do. You were against the government giving you a vaccine because you wanted sovereignty over your own body, but now you're okay with the government saying what a woman can do with her body. Yeah, that's a hypocritical view. So like, share, subscribe, you guys, and follow Money Connected. Let's get the truth. That's all we can do. Watch, follow for more. Boom. All right. So let's. All right, we'll get this one queued up, this next story. All right, we'll come back with the next. Hey, everybody, my name is Graham Elwood. We're on the road here. We're traveling through Asia. There's a little bit of a sun glare. Maybe it's lasers. So thanks for following and watching. We were at the Bitcoin Asia conference and I posted some interviews, and I'll be posting more the interviews we did there. So, and also follow us on our new channel, Bitcoin Hollywood, which is youtube.com/@Bitcoin Hollywood. Spell out Bitcoin. And, you know, when I first started this channel 8 years ago in 2017, January of 2017, I was really embracing, I wanted to get involved in indie media as best I could. And one of the organizations that really stood out to me was Mint Press News. And they have really, for the most part, done a lot of really solid journalism. And I remember Whitney Webb had a lot of articles on Mint Press News about Epstein. And but they're, you know, like a lot of indie media, they're not, they don't have any funding because big corporations don't fund indie media, and they're kind of under attack. So if you can support Mint Press News, I encourage you to do so in whatever way you can, because they're a good organization and they've covered some good stuff. And this newest article that they just came out with, I saw this on their Twitter feed. U.S. military kept hundreds of Korean women, children as sex slaves, and it's a lawsuit. More than 100 Korean women are suing the U.S. military, claiming that they were forced against their will to work as prostitutes for American soldiers on U.S. military bases in South Korea from the 1950s to the 1980s. The lawsuit details the rampant sexual abuse that these women, some of them children at the time, received at the hands of the United States military. They are seeking merely an apology and a modest $7,000 for each victim, which is not a lot of money. The United States invaded the Korean Peninsula in 1950 and has never left. To this day, more than 25,000 American troops occupy yeah, it's pretty brutal if you look at this one here. From Korea. Wow. So, yeah, this has been going on for a while. You look at the comments here. So follow Mint Press News, support what they're doing, and I hope these women are successful in this lawsuit. It's another war America really shouldn't have been involved with. Yeah, pretty brutal war. So yeah, support Mint Press News, everybody. Like, share, subscribe. Look at that. Look at that. All right.
Maybe even unworkable, right? Yeah, depending on exactly the token.
Let's just go. What's up? So there's a prediction that Bitcoin is going to go to 1 billion a coin. Sorry, I'm looking for this one story. There we go. All right. We're right back. My name is Graham Oden, and you were watching the Bitcoin Vigilante on the road here in a hotel room in Indonesia. What is up, Joe Strong? So, you know, we've been covering Bitcoin on this channel for about 5, almost 6 years now. And one of the reasons I'm a big advocate for it is I think it's a thing that regular people can invest in and get out of the corrupt fiat system that wants us all just working as wage slaves and in debt. That's what they want us to do, right? Just work, and be in debt. And, you know, in America, there used to be the American dream. If you could buy a house, that was the American dream, and it would appreciate in value. And that's how you had intergenerational wealth. You know, and as your home appreciated in value, you could borrow against it and improve your house. You could invest in your business, whatever. You could convert your garage into a 1-bedroom and rent it out. You could make it into a little business or whatever you wanted to do. You know, there's a lot of things. So your house was sort of your main investment, your main bank, so to speak. Well, now that's becoming Bitcoin. because the cost of a home is becoming further and further out of reach for more and more Americans. But one of the reasons I've been wanting regular people, and again, this is not financial advice, I'm not a paid financial advisor, but why regular people? Because institutional money is waking up to how the value of Bitcoin. And billionaires, as Michael Saylor said, he goes, once every billionaire realizes they need to own some Bitcoin, then they're all going to want to buy it. And I always say that as a regular person, every little piece of Bitcoin, and each Bitcoin can be broken into 100 million pieces. So you can buy Bitcoin for as little as $10. Every little piece of Bitcoin a regular person owns, that's one piece of Bitcoin that a billionaire can't buy, because there will only ever be 21 million coins ever made, ever. There's already 19 million in circulation. But this is an interesting thing that just came. This was on this is from Fidelity, right? Fidelity. Their institutional money from head to toe, baby. One Bitcoin may be worth $1 billion by 2038. That's less than 13 years away. I mean, it's about 12 years away. So that is pretty insane. Why do they think this? Well, let's get into this, what this says here. So one Bitcoin may be the equivalent of, by 2030, according to Jarian Teamer, director of global macro at Fidelity. Teamer backed up his assertion with a 4-hour Bitcoin chart that shows the stock market flows and the demand model, right? A stock to flow model with his demand model in Timmer's words. So this is pretty significant. And this was from 2021, okay, when this article came out. Why is this significant now? Because the math on this has gotten better. That was 4 years ago. This is before the United States made it a strategic reserve. This is before you've got all of these other countries starting to make it a strategic reserve. This is right when we were starting to have, now we've got close to a dozen states that have put at least a small portion of its state employees' pension funds into Bitcoin, right? Those things are what keep driving it up. And we saw it in April when the tariffs hit and the stock market and everything went down, and Bitcoin was at about 105K or something, and it dropped to about 85K. And everyone's like, oh no, it's collapsing to 80K. And then what it has done since then? It came back. Late July, early August, it broke a new all-time high of 124,000. And right now it's been surging a little bit. It's just got crossed over 115. It was at 111, 110, 111 for a week or two. And now it's just, as of this morning, taking off to more like a 115 mark. So that means more money is flowing into it. And one of the other significant things that this article discussed 4 years ago, but is even more significant now, is the number of people that are holding. So Bitcoin, it's very transparent. You can see where the Bitcoin is. Every transaction is on the blockchain. Every transaction is on the Bitcoin network that you can see. So there's people tracking this, and there's huge amounts of Bitcoin that is not moving. It's staying on cold wallets in essence. It's not moving to exchanges, means people are not selling it. And now that there's Bitcoin-backed loans, which you can put up your Bitcoin and get a loan up to 70, 80% of the value of the coin. So what people are doing, some people, I'm hearing, everyone was talking about this at the Bitcoin Asia conference in Hong Kong, was that because of these new Bitcoin backed loans, Coinbase is doing it, several other exchanges are doing it, where basically, and we were speculating who's going to be, obviously the Bitcoin whales. If you have a significant amount of Bitcoin, you could just put up a little bit in a loan and take a 50, 60% loan to value, and you have all this cash. And some people are doing it and they're buying more Bitcoin, which is what Michael Saylor suggests to do, because that's what he's done with MicroStrategy. They buy Bitcoin, the asset appreciates, then they take a loan against the Bitcoin to buy more Bitcoin. And that is going to do several things. It's going to infuse all of this capital into the system, but then people are going to just be borrowing against their Bitcoin to buy more Bitcoin, which is going to drive the price up of Bitcoin, which means more people can borrow against their Bitcoin. Do you see how that works? And that means $1 billion a coin, which is insane number to think about. That's 100x from what our current price is today, or whatever, 115K. That's roughly 100x, if I have that right. No, that's 1,000x. 100x would be 10 million a coin. And no, that's a 10,000x. I'm sorry, there's so many zeros. I don't use to count this high. I went to public school. So this is significant though. And again, if the United States starts buying, and Trump said he was going to do this during his campaign, but many people speculated, that I spoke with, people from Simply Bitcoin, Christy I, that he wasn't going to be able to buy, just the Congress and everybody wasn't going to let him just buy Bitcoin. But if they somehow decide to do it, if they decide to print money, print fiat, print US dollars to buy Bitcoin to increase its supply, then that means the other big countries, that means the BRICS countries, that means Russia, China, India, they're going to do the same. Which, when you have massive nation states buying billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin all at once, the price is going to go through the roof. And if Americans, or not just Americans, are American citizens are buying more of it, I mean, you know, there's roughly 50 million Americans that own crypto. So this could, do I think Bitcoin's going to be $1 billion? I mean, even if this is 9% wrong, 5% of $1 billion would be 50 million a coin. So even if this is just way, way, way pie in the sky numbers, you're still talking about, in 12 years, Bitcoin could easily be in the tens of millions a coin. So we'll see what happens. But this isn't like some wild, it's not like some crazy, you know, Bitcoin YouTuber saying $1 billion a coin. I think $1 million a coin in the next couple of years is very realistic, but it could happen a lot sooner if there's massive inflows, if there's hundreds of billions and trillions of dollars that flow into Bitcoin all at once, then the price will go way up. We'll see what happens. So thanks for watching, everybody. Like, share, subscribe, support what we're doing. I'm traveling through Asia, so I know my live streaming has been a little inconsistent, but the goal is to settle down here and start live streaming on a more consistent basis, you know, 2-3 days a week. And we'll be back doing more government secrets as well. Hello, Wendy in the chat. Thanks for supporting us. Like, share, subscribe, and support us on Patreon. There's bonus content over there. As soon as this live stream is done, it goes on Patreon. So that's what we're doing. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate all of the support. And follow the Money Connected Dots, get the truth. Buy Bitcoin. Stay safe out there. It's getting a little nutty. So shave your knuckles for justice. Boom. What's up? Thanks for watching, everybody. Yeah, like I said, I've been traveling, and I'm going to get this thing with Rockfin fixed. I'm sorry, there's been some streaming. I use StreamYard, and Rockfin it's not syncing up again, so we got to tie that in. But I'll still put the clips up there anyway. Boo! Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great night. It's Thursday night. Yeah, it's Thursday night. Uh, 9/11. It's Friday morning here in Asia. Have a great day, everybody. Shave your knuckles for justice. Yeah, boom.